good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time zone you're in. My name is Lyriander, and welcome back to the Daedric Podcast. I am once again joined by our lovely host, Tom.
Hey guys, how's it going? I cannot speak today.
Wow,
Jesus.
that's a great start to a podcast.
Yeah.
As you can see by the title, today we will be talking about all the inconsistencies that we find in the games and the books and everything. Um, so let's see. I am also not as prepared as I would like to be. Okay, here we go. Yes, let's get on. Give you
Yeah.
something to
So
watch.
for today, as Leander said, we are gonna talk about inconsistencies. That means stuff that doesn't make that much sense when you look at it from a distance. Be it in in the games itself, like gameplay wise, or in the lore. And at the end, we're gonna talk about some of the unused or cut content that was
Yes.
supposed to make it
Into the
to the
game.
games, but yeah, but it was cut due to time or budget issues.
Exactly. So, well, let's start with some of the most obvious things.
Yeah, some
Let's
of the gameplay things, like when you're just immersing yourself in the rich and colorful world of, let's say, Skyrim. You are exploring Dragon's Reach, the massive castle on top of sitting on top of the hill that governs Whiterun, and you're exploring and exploring, and something's off. You wonder, like, there is at least like 20 people just the staff and the politicians living here. Not even talking about the guards and the bar, what's it called, the dungeon that is
Mhm.
underneath it, and there are no bathrooms,
No toilets. And you
no
might,
toilet. Yeah,
yeah, you might say, well,
whatsoever.
back in those days you didn't have those things, and that is actually wrong because there are. Okay, so you won't have the same kind of toilet that we have, obviously,
Yep.
but uh,
Like the medieval,
they
we
do.
would compare it to the medieval
Yes,
toilets, which
yes,
were just shafts, like to the
yes,
side
exactly.
of like it was a little room that protruded to the outside of the building,
Yes,
and underneath was a long shaft, and the um, excess material that you dispose of fell down the shaft, and then the servants would clean the reservoir underneath it.
yes.
And
The
fun
most.
fact, yeah, one more thing.
Yeah.
Fun fact, they had to discard of these things, and they would just throw it out the window onto the street, and they would say something along the lines of do not come close to the castle, or a horrible misfortune will come upon you.
Yeah, that seems correct. Though the thing is, right? The most surprising thing is that uh, some of the forts occupied by bandits actually do have toilets, or they have like a bucket with some books, and like the way it's organized, it's basically a toilet.
Yeah, the very first mine that you encounter in Skyrim just was west of Riverwood, not west, east of Riverwood. There's an iron mine inhabited by bandits. It's
Yes,
when you're going from Helgen, you come near
you mean
the
Amber Shard Mine?
I think I don't know the name, but it's the one that on the road from Helgen to Riverwood, where on the left you have the three stones where you choose thief, warrior,
Yes,
or
yes, yes.
mage, and then on your right side is an iron mine with some bandits in it. And when you enter the mine, there's a big corridor leading down, and when you go to the left, you enter the dungeon itself. But on the right, there is a small blind tunnel, at the end of which is a little stool and a bucket.
Yep.
And some things. Also, I think one fort. Also, as you said, in some forts there are buckets. It's usually like a separate room with a bucket, and sometimes there is a book, and a lot of times it's the lusty Argonian maid.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is the for those of you who do not know, lusty Argonian maid is the erotic fan fiction or erotic novel.
It's basically the furry.
It's scaly. It's not furry.
No, it's like the Oblivion version of furry people. It's just hornying on.
I mean,
Argonians.
they don't need to dress up though. They can just seduce a Khajiit or I don't think you can seduce an Argonian because they don't grow the funny parts unless they are in contact with the histories. But I think you can.
Well, I mean, not a young one, no. But
no, I like.
Well, let's leave that discussion for later. the racial things. I'm sorry. I'm just very annoyed by the way you're going through this dungeon. This game.
What's wrong with it?
The way you just completely ignored your escort, and then he died. What a surprise!
I had to clear it. Okay, so the thing is,
pre-clearing makes sense, but
dude, no, this quest is completely stupid. This is a quest in Oblivion called the Wandering Scholar, in which you are escorting a mage through. It's a fighter's guild quest, and you are escorting a mage through a cave system.
So why are you going?
She is supposed to research Daedras, and the whole cave system is covered by high-level Dremoras for me.
She's looking for a Daedric shrine, not the Dremora themselves.
She's taking the long route.
Well, yeah,
through the dungeon, and she needs to survive.
Yep. So that's why you
go ahead and kill all the things.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. It's just that the first time you were in there, you were just.
Oh yeah, the first time because I didn't know she can die.
Of course she can die.
I thought she was essential. Why would you make a quest NPC that can die?
To make it difficult. Okay. Anyway, we're going off track here. So yeah, no toilets. There's another. The next point is that there's nowhere near enough food.
Oh fuck yeah! Like in Whiterun.
Every time Whiterun.
Yeah, just Whiterun. Whiterun is the main city in the Whiterun Hall, and how many people live in Whiterun? Like 100. 100.
No. Yeah, that's actually a different inconsistency I want to talk about. How small the cities are and how few people there are. Because in Whiterun only has not even 50 people. Really? Even if you count all the guards that are present, and those are the majority, it's not even 50. It's there's very few people. I can look up the exact number, but yeah, it's very.
I don't have it anywhere here. So, but the thing is that there is a set amount of people in Whiterun, and if you gather all of the food that is available, and you count it down, it's like a week's worth of food for like a family of 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's like nowhere near, and even when you count the farms, there are no fucking wheat farms around Whiterun. Why?
There is, but none of them are actually proper wheat farms, I think. It's a bit more than 50 though, but still, it's like way too few. It's like your top 100, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyway,
Skyrim. Whiterun is one of the bigger cities.
Yeah, I mean, look at fucking Valkyrias, and it's like people.
Yeah, that's true. Like in Skyrim, I don't like how they handled the cities. But,
yeah, no,
lore-wise, Whiterun is supposed to have 100,000 people, 110,000 people.
No, I don't think that much, but they should have a lot more people.
It's in a book.
Oh, okay, but yeah, so that's a nice inconsistency. The size of the places. You could even say that the yeah, like I know, like in Dark Souls, there's an explanation for stuff like this, but like in this game, the distances between things and the size of things is just not very realistic whatsoever. Like take for instance the city of Windhelm. That's the size of not even a fort in real life. A
Yeah,
fort
that's
would.
true. Like a fucking castle is bigger than a whole city.
Yeah, no, exactly.
And
So
like I get it that they need to,
have some
you know,
limitations.
scale it down for it to be like realistic. But on other hand, you can go with the route that the Witcher games have gone through it, where the city is actually like city-sized, but most of the buildings are inaccessible,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
the NPCs are like very like when you play Stalk, they're like, "Hey there, citizen."
Yeah, exactly. A lot of like don't care things, but I think they want you to give the freedom to rob each and every house.
Yeah, like that's the thing. You need to like choose. Like what do you want in the for the cities? Like smaller but like fully immersive. Like that they feel like actual communities with
Yeah.
people that have a place, or just or the
If they if
visually immersive where it's like a huge as like kilometer by kilometer city, and every house is just four walls.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You know, you can't access it, and majority of the NPCs are gonna be they're gonna be called peasant. They're not gonna even
Yeah,
have a
exactly.
name.
Yeah, well, we'll see what Bethesda does. Maybe they'll just choose a smaller region to work with, like smaller than Skyrim, but then make it way, way bigger in every proportion. That you can
Oh
actually like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um,
I can see that because like uh, I think the newest game with the big city that I can think of is absolutely the highly overhyped Cyberpunk, where like the majority of the buildings are still inaccessible, but the game is itself in a city, and you can like compare it to like the Assassin's Creed games where the whole game was basically in a city, and but it like the content that you could actually interact with was fairly limited.
mhm.
And the thing with the Elder Scrolls games is it's not just about cities, but the cities make a great part of the adventure.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, true. I don't know. Like, could you imagine, like the Imperial City in the size that it's glorified to be? Like the
Oh
Imperial
my
cities
god.
are already quite big for like in
Oh fuck
Oblivion,
yeah. Yeah,
but
like
it should be even bigger.
Imperial City is the size of Prague.
Maybe I don't know how big Prague is, but
Like
but
Munich.
yeah, yeah, okay, but like the that would also make the tower, like the gold white tower, that much more massive in comparison. It's like truly impressive tower.
Yeah, like the Imperial City is supposed to be like 2 million people living in it.
No, I don't think you can go for 2 million, but like having, because you also need to keep in mind the, at the time he didn't have that big of a city, that many people. But maybe like having 10,000 people live there would already be more realistic, and that still is nowhere near. That's not possible.
Yeah, Tamriel's population in total is supposed to be like 24 million.
Yeah, seems about right.
So the biggest city would be at least 2 million.
I don't know. It's we need an actual historian to see how
Yeah,
possible
that's
it is.
true. Like
Okay.
we need the lore master.
Yeah, the actual lore master. Yes, we talked about
Yeah,
it.
we talked about this before the podcast, but we talked about like the lore of Elder Scrolls, and that a lot of the things are actually like only hinted at, and where are they actually getting their sources from? And Leander said that in Elder Scrolls offices they have an encyclopedia,
Sort of, yes.
yeah, an official lore book that like has everything in it.
or at least
It has
all the big events that
all the big
you know.
events, like all the true identities, all the true reasons, all the true meanings. And I got a huge nerd boner from that sentence, because the best thing is that you don't get access to this book unless you are in a position in the Bethesda offices called the Lore Master.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't know
Master.
we don't know the entire setup of that company, but yeah, like there is a position called Lore Master. Could you imagine putting that on your CV?
Oh my god, curriculum vitae, like my name, Andrew, fucking Lore Master. That's like.
So yeah, basically we are.
That's up there with fucking astronaut and like nuclear physicist.
Totally. It's also funny because basically we of the Daedric Podcast are basically making attempts at figuring out what is in that book with our musings, and then we'll probably
like we are using several sources. Of course, we're using the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages. We're using the
games itself,
the games itself, like our experience there. We're using Reddit and the opinions of others. We're using
all sorts of sources, but never the official source.
All shit ton of sources, yeah, like the books themselves that are in the games, but we're only making like our version of like what we think is the truth.
Yes, exactly. It's only the Lore Master will truly know.
Like knowing that there is someone who actually knows the truth is like, oh my god.
All right, let's move on to back to the inconsistencies. So yeah, like you noted, magic in the Elder Scrolls world exists, and yet there are so many conveniences that they haven't made use of.
Like, I mean, for example, the very first spell you get, no matter what class you,
flames,
what race you or a class you choose, you get the ability to cast a basic fire spell.
To be fair, though, that's just you, the player. The other races don't have that.
I guess it's just you, the player, but still, you can just read the widely available books for beginners.
Widely, yes. Though I will argue that. Maybe us, the player, we are so amazing that we can easily learn those things. Because if you look at the way people talk about magic, it seems that not everyone can do it. And it's actually hard to learn. We're just so capable of learning things because we are a hero, I think.
Yeah, we're a Dragonborn. We're one of the most powerful beings in the universe. So.
Well, no. You remember from the beginner tutorial, like there's a thing called heroes. And that's all the characters in the games are heroes, which are mortals that develop far beyond the normal scope of people.
Yeah, that's true. Like especially in the Skyrim version where you are you are a hero plus you are a Dragonborn.
Mm-hmm.
And like the thing with Dragonborns is you don't get a good scale how powerful they are. Like they actually are. Like in Skyrim, the only thing you can do is once every 30 seconds you can push people back.
Well, it's pretty powerful, but it's actually
it's like powerful, but it's not like
it's basically
powerful.
What you play is actually less than what you are. In lore-wise, what you are capable of. In fact, it's funny that you are playing with it, but technically they're still talking about what you are really capable of, which is
And the thing is that you get a good scale how powerful Dragonborns actually are if you play Elder Scrolls Online. There are several quests when you hunt Dragonborns.
Really?
And yes, there are actually bosses, and there are group bosses. There's a single humanoid entity, and you need like fucking siege weapons and powerful mages and artifacts to just negate some of the things they can do.
Yeah.
Like there is a boss that which is a Dragonborn, and he already was hit by a ballista, so he has a ballista bolt stuck in his chest. So he is weakened.
He's weakened by the giant ass bolts.
Yes, he is weakened, and you need to recover an artifact, which is basically the opposite of the horn of Jurgen the Windcaller. It's like the yin and yang version of it, which negates some of the harmful effects of his fumes.
Oh, okay,
and
yeah.
You need an archmage to shield you from the already weakened fumes he shouts.
Yeah.
Only then you can fight him, and he's a single humanoid entity. It's not a god. It's not a great ass dragon something ghost thing. It's just a fucking human that can speak dragon language.
And that's how powerful it makes you. So that's saying something. Yeah, and then we don't get to see that. Well, technically we do. I mean, with my current character, like, it's definitely OP as hell.
Like, absolutely. But the thing is that the main power of the Dragonborn is supposed to be the shouts, and like Underhunting Force itself, like lore-wise, it's supposed to be when you shout somebody with the Unrolling Force, he's supposed to shatter, like explode from the forceful impact.
Well, yeah, if you do the full shout, absolutely.
Yeah, and like the Skyrim, the gameplay version, of course, you can't have that because it would just break the gameplay. But like lore-wise, knowing that the Dragonborn is just like Sroda, and a fucking cone of people in front of him just explode from the sheer force.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not for nothing that actually in the games you have the Greybeards, who have studied this for years, who are not able to, properly talk because
how powerful they are.
Yeah, how powerful, and that they a
small
if you whisper.
Actually, like enrage them. Yeah.
No, if you just like interact with them, they give a small whisper, and like the whole building starts to shake.
Yeah.
And
that's how the Dragonborn is supposed to be powerful.
Yeah, exactly. And
far more than the Greybeard, because he is like.
Yeah, that's why, like, if you ever read something about the Dragonborns in the books and whatnot, they're also way more impressive. Like, if you read about what Talos did, like.
Fuck yeah.
Anyway, let's go on to. Actually, related to this is actually another inconsistency, and that's reputation. In that you do all these amazing things in the games, and aside from the casual remark like, "Oh, you're this and that person, amazing," and then nothing else.
Yeah,
doesn't
nobody
really...
fucking respects you. Like this actually ties to another thing which I had a comment about, how what armor and weapons you are wielding should affect the people, the way people treat you also. Which it doesn't.
Yeah, guards make a comment about it, maybe.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's it. It should be way more.
If you have a full set of light or heavy armor, they comment about that thing. But like, you enter a fucking village, like a peasant village, like everybody's there they just have clothes, maybe an iron dagger or an iron sword. Like the guards have shitty ass armor, and you enter with a full Daedric armor, enchanted, with a giant ass Daedric artifact sword on your shoulders, just emanating death and like terror from you.
I mean, technically speaking, if you're wearing a full set of Daedric armor, you should straight up look like a Dremora to them. Because usually only Dremora wear that, so...
Like, that's the thing, like, most of these people never saw Daedric equipment, let alone a man in full set of armor.
Yeah.
Who's also the fucking Dragonborn.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's also when someone is wearing a full a full set of armor that's covering, every part of them, you shouldn't be able to. It shouldn't be possible for people to recognize you.
Yep.
Unless you've come there in that set of armor before, but like, it should create, some way to remain anonymous.
Yeah, like in Oblivion, there is a Daedric artifact of Nocturnal called the Mask of the Grey Fox, or the Hood of the Grey Fox. What's it
No,
called?
the Grey Cowl,
The Grey Cowl.
the
But
Cowl of
it's the Grey
Nocturnal.
Fox's cowl.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, it's the Mask of Nocturnal. That's the official name. Mask of Nocturnal.
Okay, so anyway, it's a piece of hardware that if you equip it, you are known as the great. You transform basically in the eyes of everyone who sees you into the Grey Fox.
Yes.
Which is a known criminal.
Yes, you are
with
perceived,
a highest bounty on himself.
Yes, and in fact, actually, if you go into the stats and check out your infamy, you will actually get like maximum infamy.
Oh.
From when you are wearing it, and you take it off, it's gone.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you put it on, you are known as the Grey Fox. You can murder, you can steal, and as soon as you pull it off,
take it off.
Poof! You transform back into John Smith.
John Smith.
The unknown nobody Imperial.
Who happens to save the entirety of Tamriel.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, yeah, no, it's.
It's the perfect anonymity tool.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's perfect for being a master thief. But by the time that you have it, it's not exactly the most useful.
Yep.
Anyway, yes, let's continue.
What should we talk about? Should we talk about also the?
I wanted to save the
poisons.
Yeah, we can go for poisons. Yeah, the poisons.
Yeah.
So okay, first of all, in real life there are no poisons or venoms or other kinds of toxins that would have the same effects as the poison that you see in games. And like even the most basic.
The rain frog, the frog, a little toxic froggy.
Yeah, but that still doesn't like it. Like it doesn't have those damage health kind of effects.
Oh yeah, it straight up kills you.
Well, I mean, not necessarily, but it's like there's venom that basically clots up your blood. There's things that destroy your nerve ends.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it doesn't like damage you itself. It just like it makes your heart stop straight up.
Yeah, no, exactly. There's no chill. It's either you feel unwell, or you die.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not an expert on those things, but still, there's no damage health kind of thing, and who knows what all those other things of like.
You could say that there are poisons that cause necrosis.
But you also need to keep in mind, as in this is a poison that you apply to your weapon, and for that it needs to be able to survive outside of its normal state. And then I think the biggest issue is also how fast they work. Like any poison that you apply on a weapon, historically anyway, no way that you're gonna have that quick of an effect. Like
the thing with poisons is that things that are poisonous, you need to eat them.
Yes.
To actually have an effect. I have yet to inject the red mushroom juice into my blood, but like I don't know what's the version. Like it is the red mushroom with the white spots. It's every country calls it a different name. We all know which one I mean. The hallucinogenic. It's you say your parents say it's poisonous. But actually, it just makes you hallucinate and vomit.
It's actually it's we should know because they actually appear in Skyrim with the same name. It's the fly amanita. Jesus.
I have no fucking idea how you call it in English, dude.
It's a fly amanita.
I guess maybe isn't it the Latin name?
The Latin name is Amanita muscaria.
Yeah, we call it Červená mochomurka, so...
Just say the red mushroom.
Yeah, we call it the red mushroom. That's literally the name translated. So.
Anyway,
Anyway, like there are poisons which you need to eat to actually get into your system, which then take effect. But then there are venoms, which usually are in animals that bite you,
mhm.
and it gets into your bloodstream, and from there it causes harm.
Yes.
So, but the majority of the like all of the poisons that you make in the Elder Scrolls games are made from plants, and
Yes.
plants are poisonous, not
Yes.
venomous.
Indeed. And so the effect is much slower as well, and usually not as
Yeah.
as drastic.
But the thing is that if you were to actually somehow obtain the poisons we have here in a normal real world with the rain for the little
Frogs.
neon rainforest frog, where the aboriginal hunters like actually like cover their darts in it, and it instantly kills the monkeys, like
Mm,
instantly they just
yeah.
and it's right out, like stops their heart like in a matter of like a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No. It's also
that would actually work, I guess, but
yeah. No. Exactly. But still, it's yeah. It's not the same. Also,
you need a fucking yeah, it goes into your bloodstream no matter if it's a poison or a venom. You need a bloodstream. A, you need a
oh
bloodstream.
right.
B, you need blood. C, you need the heart to actually pump the blood. So no more forsworn Briarheart.
Yeah. No. I mean, you could argue that the blood is being transported through magic because the Briarheart does has that kind of magic effect. But still, yeah.
Yeah, no Atronax because they don't have blood at all.
But they are immune to poisons, I think.
They are immune to poison. Okay, but
And so are the
are
constructs.
undead?
Undead, not all of them, I think. I could check.
Yes, because like Draugr is or a vampire. I think like vampire maybe has a bloodstream, a working bloodstream, because they still need to eat. Vampires eat. They suck blood.
Yes, they
And
just like the like I don't know what Skyrim uses an explanation, but in most fantasies, a vampire basically does not have a beating heart, and therefore, or no, it doesn't produce blood himself, so that's why they have to steal the blood of others.
So it goes from their mouth to their bloodstream instead of their stomachs.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the specifics. Maybe they have like some
Yeah,
extra.
that's like, how the fuck do vampires work if you don't have a beating heart, aka you don't?
Okay. It seems that some undead are immune to poison. Draugr are actually immune to poison.
Oh, how about skeletons? Because imagine poisoning a skeleton.
Let me see. Skeletons. They are fully resistant to poison. Yeah, they are actually.
Yep.
Okay, so they did not have that issue. Someone thought that they did, but no. Apparently not.
That's interesting.
Yes, let me go back to the topics list. Yes. Well, I actually want to let's go into the ruins right now because I want to talk about it.
Oh, sure.
So one of the things that you find in Tamriel is a lot of ruins of old forts and old Nordic ruins, Dwemer ruins, Aelid ruins, and well, it's kind of in the name. It's an ancient place, as in usually no one's been there for a long time, and yet there are things in there that you can find that should not be possible. For instance, fresh fruit, fresh food in general. Really, that's one thing that you'll find a lot. But okay, so what we need to keep in mind is that the Aelid ruins have most likely been plundered over and over again, so they have. There's a few more accessible parts, I guess. Like it's some you could argue that people have left behind stuff, but when it comes to like the Nordic ruins in Skyrim and the Dwemer ruins, those things have been locked off for thousands of years.
Yeah,
Like
there are of course exceptions, like some Dwemer ruins are
yeah,
inhabited by
like
bandits,
Markarth.
some Nordic ruins are inhabited by bandits, but
Yeah,
those
true.
are really exceptions. Like the
Yes.
thing with the Aelid ruins is that they are right there, outside of your city, and the majority of the time, Aelid ruins are inhabited by bandits, lesser Daedras, and sometimes it's like undead, like skeletons,
Yeah.
ghosts, and stuff.
Some
But
liches.
some of is yeah, maybe sometimes it's a vampire or something. But the thing is,
None of
it's
those need food.
yeah, like the Aelid ruins have been plundered over
Yes.
and over. It's been looted and looted, and
Yeah.
people have lived there, and over the time, like there are none of the original defenses apart from the traps
Yeah.
are there. Like
True.
no original what you call them residence
Yes.
is still
It's
there.
it's also
And
somewhat implied that the Nordic ruins and Dwemer ruins have only recently started being accessible for the beginning of the event. Like,
I don't know
uh,
about the Weber ruins, but the Nordic ruins have always been accessible until you reach the circle dragon claw thing.
oh yeah, yeah, exactly. Which is still like the main source of why the Draugr are
Yeah,
able
but
to.
like since Nords have have such a strong what you call it such a strong belief, like or such a strong honor when it comes to their like past ones.
Ah yes, the
They
ones that have died. Yeah, they have a lot of
yeah,
respect for those that
for the departed.
yeah, departed. Yes, they have respect for them. Yes.
Yes, and so they don't, like, even the bandits,
Disturb the dead.
they don't disturb the dead. They don't raid
The no,
the
yeah.
ruins. And the thing is that even if they did, as of the events of Skyrim, uh, when Alduin came down
Hmm.
and he started resurrecting the dragons, as a byproduct of that,
The
uh,
dragon priests also became more
the
powerful again.
dragon priests also came to life, and with them all the Draugrs, the ancient Nords that have been buried in the moels, have
Yes. So
risen.
yes. So one thing, like to give a bit of a timestamp to this, uh, the Dwemer ruins, most of them are made by the those that worship the dragon cult, you know, those who worship the dragons, which ended right, like the last, uh, the last Nordic, like the last dragon cult worshippers, Jesus, uh, were wiped out in the year 433 in First Era, and most of, and that was actually like one of the last few surviving. No, that was the last one. Um, so let's use that time stamp, like First Era 433. So certain things should not be possible to find in ruins, such as septums. You know, the currency that you can find in the Elder Scrolls games is septums, which are made like the coins with the face of Tiber Septim on it. Tiber Septim was not a thing until the end of the Second Era. He started the Third Era, so you know, you should not be able to find any gold or like that you could use in Dwemer ruins. Maybe some old gold, but even then, it doesn't really make sense. Um,
Yeah, only the Dwemer ruins. Like the thing is that
the Dwemer ruins, yeah, like the Dwemer ruins, should were inhabited until they disappeared, which was in the year 700 of the First Era. So it's also the First Era. And as a reminder, the First
yeah,
Era ended in the year 2000, 2900 something.
yeah.
So
Like with the Aelid ruins, it's understandable because, as we said, it's like been raided over and
mhm.
over. So people have brought coins from the outer world into the ruin itself.
Yeah.
and stored it in the casks and
Doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it's possible. Yes. Maybe a temporary storage, you know.
yeah. Well, like if you're a bandit and you live in the fucking
Yeah.
ancient alien ruin, like where else would you put it?
Yeah. No, fair enough. But that doesn't explain. Well, there's also. So I talked about coins, but you also have books. There's a lot of books that. Well, first of all, books don't survive for that long, so they couldn't have survived. And secondly, there's books in those ruins that were written, not even 50 years before the events of the game. So it's a bit like, these books should not be here.
Yep. Also, the thing that like struck me was all of the chests in the
Oh yeah,
ruins, like are chests or the normal chests that we encountered, like the wooden classic. You lockpick them, right?
yes. Old as
Uh,
locks shouldn't have the same lockpicking
yes.
requirements as the.
Fuck yeah. That's what I wanted to say. Like, like, what type of locks did the aliens use? Or the fucking Dwemer? You unlock Dwemer chests. I don't think they would use simple keys.
No, like I mean, if you take
It's
a
the
look at.
Dwemer. They would have like a unit tool that like tuned to your soul, and you could unlock chests that were like fucking access to given access. You were given access to. It's like high tech shit. Like a simple lockpick would not be able to do anything with with Dwemer chest, let alone one in like a Dwemer laboratory or something.
Yeah, no, it's um yeah, like you said, it's very strange. Like if you take a look at real life history of locksmithing, as in like how to make locks, you will see that you know we the locks that we see nowadays are not that like I mean like okay, so the lockpicking that you see in these games is actually I think it's somewhat possible, but it's unlikely. You're more likely to find those locks where you have like a big ass key,
Yep, yeah,
and there's like
absolutely. Like
none of that in
the
this.
lockpicking that we use in the game, like the mini game that you always have, that one is actually used for our modern locks. But the game itself, like it's like it's supposed to be medieval, even though we don't like to say it. So and the logs back then were just the huge piece of metal. It was like a small rod with an protrusion at the end. It was like at the right angle,
Oh,
and you
okay.
just stuck it into the log and twisted it. There was no like intrigued system. If you
Well,
had a
hold on,
master
hold on,
key,
hold on,
you
hold
could.
on, hold on. Yeah, no, like okay, so pin locks, which is the kind of lock that you lockpick, especially in Oblivion, those are like pin locks.
Yeah.
They have been used since Egyptian times, so like 6,000 years. However, those used to be made of wood, so it's very easy to force them. Like, let's see. Yeah. Locks such as these were later developed into the Egyptian wooden pin lock, which consisted of a bolt, door fixture or attachment, and key. When the key was inserted, pins within the fixture were lifted out of the drilled holes within the bolt, allowing it to move. When the key was removed, the pins fell part way into the bolt, preventing movement. So
Yeah, that's the classic pin lock, but the normal lock that would be everywhere is called the warded
yeah,
lock.
the warded lock, and they would be more present. Yes.
Yeah, and the warded lock can be unlocked with a simple piece of twisted metal.
Yeah. No. Exactly. So yeah, it's a bit
There will
strange. Yeah,
be
like
no
you.
lockpicking necessary.
I mean, you could argue that the Dwemer would have locks that are amazing like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. Like as I said, the Dwemer would have some high tech shit with
So
like steam
it's
powered
yeah,
with,
it's
with an exhaust pipe.
yeah. So, but that does bring to light the fact that lock picks or like locks in general shouldn't be the same everywhere. Really,
No,
like
it shouldn't.
a Dwemer lock should be very different from a ancient Nord lock, from a modern lock, and all that. So if they
Also, like Morrowind log and Skyrim log and Citadel log.
yeah, exactly. So I think actually that might be an interesting feature to add to the new game is that you have
Oh, like a different mini game. Like,
yeah, different mini games, but also just you should also have the ability to force the lock, as in kick it open or something.
oh, the thing. No. I don't like the forced log because that thing is in Fallout games, and the forced log is always like on a percentile thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if you fail it, it disables the lock permanently.
yeah, but well, I mean, for computers
So
that would make sense.
why would you force a lock unless it's 100%?
Because your character is not a thief and doesn't want to go around trying.
I
to...
get it, but like there's a fucking chest at the end of the dungeon. You try to force it and it gets stuck and you can't open it anymore.
Well then, allow me to take the fucking chest with me. Do this D&D style. Be creative.
Yeah, like, but I get it that but the force open the lock is not a good thing. The auto lock from Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion is also a feature I would not like to see return because it just mash the left mouse button.
Yeah, break
until
500 left. Yeah, exactly. So realistically speaking, if you did something like that and break several lockpicks in the process, at some point the lock would be full of broken lockpicks.
Also,
and you couldn't
what the
use
fuck
it.
are your lockpicks made out of? Glass? It's
well, no,
supposed to be metal. You
yes,
are
but
not gonna break metal.
Yes, you can if it's thin enough, and you need them to be thin.
Have you seen real life lockpicks?
I've seen modern ones, so they don't really work the same way. They look different.
I mean, modern lockpicks and
yeah, well, the lung.
Dude, it's still steel, and
you need to keep in mind that steel back in those days was the quality was way worse. You know, there's a reason swords break.
Do you have pins? Pins like
made of modern metal.
Yeah, it's just you won't be able to break that. You may be able to bend it.
Well, yeah, but like I said,
it's not made from aluminum. It's made from fucking iron.
Yes,
it's brittle, but it's not that brittle.
I think you can break off a piece from modern pins, if you will. But the thing is that you're ignoring is
really you have to use excess force.
Well, yeah.
Lockpicking doesn't use excess force. It's
Yeah, okay. I understand your point, but you really are overestimating the quality of metal back in those days. You'd be surprised at how much we have advanced in quality of metals. Which actually brings up a nice new point, and that is the finding of weapons and armor in the ruins. Because so Dwemer weapons and armor make sense because in lore it is explained that they never lose their edge.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you could argue the same for ancient Nord weapons, which are lower in quality but still,
also
they work.
Glass.
Yeah, glass. Well, it seems to last for a long time. But the thing is. But other than that, you shouldn't be able to find that many. Iron and steel should definitely have corroded to hell.
Absolutely. As long as it's metal and not some fancy ass stuff,
if it can oxidize, yes.
Or glass, ebony and stuff like that. Ebony, which is also basically glass. Glass doesn't corrode and it keeps its edge as long as you don't break it. And the same thing goes with the Dwemer stuff because it's
a special
supposed
metal.
to be the special metal, highest quality. I don't know about Elven, Orcish, and stuff like that. I don't think Daedric can even lose an edge. I think Daedric is the same thing as Dwemer.
It should lose an edge because that way all the spikes will finally fall off.
I mean, like Daedric in itself is
Yes.
inherently magical.
Yes. So maybe it won't fall apart, but
Yeah.
yeah, it should. um, yeah, like we talked about this before, but like it's strange to find elven weaponry or glass weaponry in, like, for instance, a Nordic ruin. You could argue that they got it from elves that they killed back in those days, but at least it should be ancient elven weaponry then, because the idea that weaponry doesn't change over time, like it's like even 3,000 years ago they were using the exact same design. I highly doubt that.
Yeah. Also, like speaking of the design changes, when you talk about, I know this is just a straight up gameplay thing, and that across the time people change design and stuff like that, but uh, when you compare the weapons and armor from Morrowind to Oblivion and Skyrim, especially the Morrowind and Oblivion, which take a place in the same 50 years.
Yes.
The design changes are too radical for
Yeah,
it to
like
make
you
sense.
could argue that in Morrowind they use different designs. That's certainly possible. But there, like for instance, the Legion armor, yeah, it shouldn't be that different.
Yeah, the Legion armor and the stuff like the Dwemer stuff.
Oh yeah,
I don't
I think
think
the
they would
in-game,
like.
I think the in-game explanation is that you have Eastern Dwemer stuff and Western Dwemer stuff, and
I get it, but there are
yeah,
no Dwemer runes in Cyrodiil, so all the Dwemer stuff in Cyrodiil has been imported from Morrowind.
or from Skyrim. Either way, that they shouldn't be different from either Morrowind
Yeah.
or Skyrim. That's the problem. Yeah. Oh well.
Also, there is for some reason no elven shit in Morrowind. I don't know why.
Because Dunmar are like very. We're not elves, or like we're unique kind of elves.
Yeah,
That's why we have chitin and such.
that's a fun that's the fun thing that when we say like elven weaponry and elven armor, we mean high elf
Yeah, we mean like
weaponry and
Altmer.
high elf. Yeah,
and
we mean the Outmer, because like technically Dunmers have bone mold and stuff like that.
chitin and such. Yeah, they have their own
Yeah,
like
and
very.
Boxmer, um,
Bosmer is kind of interesting because they will most likely have some influence from the high elves, but at the same time, they can't
they would
cut trees.
they can't use they can't use any plant material.
No, they're
And
not. I think they're not allowed to cut trees. So branches that fall off, they can use. And like, how the hell did you make a civilization of archers that can't cut wood? It's like, damn.
that's true. Like you're not gonna make a good bow out of a dry branch. You need
No, like,
young branch that is still
I
flexible.
mean, you can use bone to make a bow. That has been done. Mongolians did that, but they combined it with other things. I think there's also wood in there. I'm not sure. I think so. But yeah,
I
like,
mean,
still though.
there's a lot of shit in Elder Scrolls. Like maybe they use kitten. Who knows?
Titan.
Fuck you. There's too many pronunciations for that one.
Pronunciation.
Okay,
But yeah, no,
speaking of the regional changes, we have to mention Khajiit and
Oh, yeah.
Argonians.
Well,
Especially the Khajiit, since Khajiit themselves, depending on where they are born,
when they are born.
when they are born, they change.
Yeah.
And they are called Furstocks, and there are 17 different Furstocks.
Yes.
Depending on the position and
Of the moon.
fullness of the moons when they are born. And
Yeah.
it ranges from Alfig, the house cats that are really, really good with magic, to the Ohms who look like cat girls, Nekopara style, and all the way to goddamn Senshi, who are basically battle steeds.
Yes, exactly. it's the thing is like the Khajiit have some explanation for it. Like the changes in design, you could explain with it's just a different fur stock. The Argonians
I
do
get,
not.
but the thing is that in Morrowind, all the Khajiits
Oh,
are
the same.
Sutairat.
Yeah, that's possible technically.
Yeah, and in Skyrim, all the Khajiits are, I think, Kafai
Yep, something like that. Yeah.
or Kafairat, one of these.
Only
And
in Elder
all
Scrolls
the Khajiits
Online.
in Daggerfall are Ohms.
Yeah, no. Only in
Online.
online do you get different kinds, and I think in future games they will also allow you to encounter multiple kinds. Maybe it's never stated.
I hope.
Well, I mean, I think you're still gonna only be able to play one of them, but you'll see more of them. It would be cool to actually have, like, for instance, a nomadic group of Khajiit that like one caravan, and they have like 4 or 5 different kinds of Khajiit living together, so you can actually see them next to one another.
Yeah,
cool.
The thing is that since it's like it depends when they are born, it paints a bad picture where like all the Khajiits are born at the same time.
Yeah, it's like,
in
okay,
a
so
selected region.
you're born in November. Okay, now that means you have to go to this province and live there.
Yeah,
something like that.
exactly.
It's a bit strange. Also, I actually I'm not sure if it was in this playthrough or the previous one, but the what the carriage driver, like, he has a lot of random lines, but one of the things he said was that like, he basically implied that he'd never seen Khajiit before. Like, he was like, you hear those cat-like people from down in the south, something like that. And it's like, what? You've never seen a Khajiit? So it's a bit interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see.
Maybe the Skyrim guide maybe is the Dagi, which it says it's they look like lynxes because the Skyrim.
Yeah. Well, that's only
Skyrim
because
Khajiit
you're only
look
saying
like
that because
lynxes.
of the tufts on the ear that you can add.
I
Yeah,
think
maybe.
like it's by default like the Skyrim the Skyrim Khajiit look like lynxes or like snow, basically the snow cats, like ranging from lynx all the way to a snow panther.
Snow leopard
And
as well. Yeah.
Snow leopard, snow panther.
No, wait. It's not snow leopards. Snow leopards have round ears, so that doesn't work.
Whatever. And in Oblivion, they all look like either lions or what you call them, mountain lions.
Yeah. So more lions.
Yeah,
Yes.
because like imperial lion, you get it. And in Morrowind, they all look like tigers. So
Yeah, and they have the legs. Yeah. So
they did change design over time, but it would be nice to have a consistency in the
a
games
consistency,
itself. I
or
hope in Elder Scrolls 6 they add more variety.
Yes. The Argonians, on the other hand, that's they are inexcusable that they've changed that much.
I mean,
you could say the Hist has changed them, but
no,
still.
no, because Hist alter Argonians to their surroundings. So
yes, but that requires them to have the history in those.
Argonians are adapted to better live in the ash-covered Badlands.
Okay, so yeah, that would work for the ones in Morrowind, simply because the histories are not that far away, so they could. But then Oblivion and Skyrim, they don't have that excuse.
Oblivion, I mean, Cyrodiil is still neighboring with Blackmarsh.
Yeah, no, I know, but I don't know.
And Skyrim, it's not that big of a stretch. I mean, like, the thing is, Argonians have to decide, oh, we are going to Skyrim. Oh, big history, bless me for this journey.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that works. Like, the histories, I think, are very, like, they make their own decision. So wouldn't it makes more sense that they if they are
Oh,
in that.
then the history fucking tells the Argonian, you are going to Brazil. I mean, Skyrim.
No, I mean like I was under the impression that if the history is in that region, then the Argonians get the change. But
I don't, I don't know. Like, histories for me, I always thought of them as like these near divine, all-knowing beings.
yeah, maybe.
So they go like, oh, this Argonian Sakato or whatever their name is. They like he is needed in the province of Skyrim. He is going to be a Skuma dealer in fucking Riften or something.
Poor Talonjay.
Or he is going to be a slave
Oh god.
in the province of Morrowind.
I don't know.
A great what you call it? It's a great destiny. Fit
Yeah.
for a warrior.
Fit for one such as you. Well, thanks, Hist.
Yeah.
Let's see. I remember something from the ruins that I wanted to talk about. You know how like there's all these forts everywhere available in Oblivion and in Skyrim, all these big forts, and yet they are all like broken down partially or like collapsed in certain parts. Like they all look like they've been made like 500 years ago. And
yeah, they're kept in a constant state of disrepair.
yes, exactly. And for some reason, there are apparently no stonemasons in the entirety of Tamriel because no one bothered to fix any of these, even though there's plenty of reason for them to do so. I mean, they're in a civil war in Skyrim, so why does Whiterun look like it was made like 1,000 years ago and no one ever bothered to look at the walls?
I mean, Whiterun doesn't look that bad.
Yes. It is
compared to something like Winterhold. Not. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, okay.
Like,
I mean, if you look at
is...
Winterhold is not even part of the discussion, considering that it collapsed into the sea and no one bothered to fix anything. Like 80 years have passed and they still have like the ruins of buildings there that they never bothered to fix.
Yeah, like still fucking smoldering.
Yeah, exactly. So it's that doesn't make sense. But
like,
if you look at
it's 80 years and there's a collapsed wooden house.
Yeah.
It's wood. You could have used it as a firewood. Why would you?
It's also in Skyrim where it's fucking cold all the time, so it's really strange.
Yep.
Like with all that snow, like your wood is gonna be gone in no time.
Yep. Doesn't make sense.
No, exactly. And so I would love to see a mod where you can just introduce a stonemason to Skyrim and just go around and fixing all the forts, so you can see them in their full glory.
The thing is that if they decide to add some system like this in Elder Scrolls 6, like, you know, in in Fallout 4, you have the settlement system.
Mm-hmm.
Which is basically Heartfire.
Yeah, but cooler.
Yeah, better Heartfire. So I have a good reason to assume there will be a settlement system in Elder Scrolls 6.
Not sure. It's a whole different. Like, what would the reason be? Simply because it wasn't Fallout 4?
No, like the same reason you want to rebuild Helgen.
Yeah. God, I totally have that. I have those mods. Rebuild Helgen and rebuild Kvatch. Like, absolutely.
Yeah, for that exact reason. And as you said, oh, you have conquered this fort, and you basically killed all the bandits in it, and now it's bandit free, and now it's gonna be just vacant. So why not use it as a fucking settlement point?
Yeah, or like even in Skyrim, technically, if you clear out a fort, then the Imperials or Stormcloaks will take over, depending on which fort, of course. Yeah, like they take it over, but they don't make any fortifications or anything. Like so much for the organized.
No, they do.
Organized.
They do add
Yeah,
fortifications.
I mean the same one that the bandits do though. Get some
No,
spikes.
they add the roadblocks.
What kind of blocks? Sorry.
Roadblocks.
Oh yeah, well the bandits also have that. So no.
The bandits don't do that. Only after the Imperials, one of the armies,
Whatever.
take control over it, they add actual roadblocks and they man it far more heavily.
Do they know? I think that it's just the same amount. It's just the same level. All of them are guard level. So I don't know. Let's see. So yeah, they should be. You should be able to fix that. I think it's more like you should at least have the option to do so. Like yes, it's not a thing that heroes would necessarily do, but like we want the possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. Like for me, I think that variety is the key, and not the wide as an ocean and shallow like a kiddie pool, but like actually add depth to the settlement system. Because I think the main fault in Fallout 4 was you have too many settlements and they like keep needing something, which is not fun.
Yeah,
They
it's
should
also
be able to keep take care of themselves and actually provide something for you. And I don't mean like once a week you get 100 gold.
No. It's also the fact that like if you make a very good defense, set it up for like a settlement, then they won't be able to use it whatsoever. Like I can make a fucking fort in Fallout 4, but then it still gets attacked, and then when I go there, like the enemy is somehow already in the fort. Like, really?
Yep. You need to make a U shape with all the turrets facing inside.
Yeah, something like that.
I think that's the thing that I would want in the Elder Scrolls 6. That like, not me being able to design it myself, but just having like when you buy a house in Skyrim, you have a guy, a porter that you ask to, and he asks you like, "Do you want a new kitchen?" And you say yes. And it deploys the kitchen itself. So you you speak to the settlement master and you ask, "Do you want us to build a fucking blacksmith here?" You say yes, and it builds the blacksmith on a set place.
That would actually work. I mean, it doesn't give the same level of freedom, but we don't actually need it in Skyrim. Like in Fallout 4, you can argue, or like in Fallout series, you can argue that. You have all these survivors, and you need to like. Yeah, basically it makes more sense in lore.
Yeah, in lore and gameplay wise, because it's a shooter. So
it's a shooter, and it's also like in an environment where you have to survive. Whereas here in Tamriel, like it's like everything's pretty okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of the survival thing, why is no one fucking eating or sleeping? Why does no one?
Well, they do.
No, like the NPCs have it like set.
Yes.
But like, what I grieve is that in the Fallout games there is the survivor setting when you start the game.
Oh yeah.
Which makes you need food, sleep, water. Why is this not in the Elder Scrolls games?
Oh, well, because that feature was only added later.
No, it wasn't.
Like, yes, it was.
It's in Fallout New Vegas.
And Fallout New Vegas is made not by Bethesda, remember?
But Fallout 3 is it? No. Yes. I don't know.
Does it have 3? I don't know. They look at different things. I think it's because the Fallout series is already more focused on surviving rather than the Elder Scrolls series.
Yeah.
So also.
No, it's Bethesda. Fallout 3 is Bethesda.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Then the other thing that I said makes more sense. By the way, my footage is about to disappear and crash because the game crashed and I didn't make more footage.
Whatever, I have plenty of footage to talk about. I'm currently running through a dungeon aimlessly, trying to discover every nook and cranny in case there's a in case there's a chest containing 80
Yeah.
gold pieces, because I only have 50,000.
Yeah, you're yeah. And like looking through your footage is it's like constantly like, oh, look at you looting every single fucking chest, and like I'm so used to not doing that all anymore because you know I have so much
Oh yeah,
so much
I do that.
gold.
This is like uh,
I get
I I
I you
can't play new dungeons because I can't do dungeons in Elder Scrolls games because one dungeon takes me an hour because I have to discover everything even though I know there's gonna be nothing of value.
Yeah, no, I'm more of a get the mod to get merchants rich and then just start selling things that are actually worth a lot, like gemstones and
Inconsistencies
whatnot.
though.
Because otherwise, yeah.
So inconsistencies. We should probably talk about them again.
Oh, there we go.
Hello.
Yes, the inconsistencies. Hello.
Yeah, internet's fucking up.
So yeah, that happens. Uh, I could
So,
go like
any other that are on top of your mind, or should
yes, yes.
we?
No, there's a few good ones. You know how in Dwemer Ruins they have all these lights, like these oil lamps. That sort of, you could argue that okay, maybe their design is very good and that works out. But and then like
They have the little spiders that
yeah, exactly.
keep it
And you have
working.
the Aelid ruins, as you can see now in your stuff. Is they have these stones, the Waylet stones, to light everything up. Makes sense. But the Nordic ruins do not have that excuse. As in, how are there so many torches, and how are there so many braziers still burning? Like,
I actually heard a theory that says that the Draugrs themselves
yeah, no,
keep it up.
there is truth in that because if you read the book Amongst the Draugrs, is like someone who who literally was among the Draugr and then researched what they do, and they do patrol the halls and worship. They give their life force to the Dragon Priest, and they do maintain things, and that's why also there's an in-lore explanation as to why Draugr get revived.
Yes.
Um,
Also, you can, on a side note, you can fast forward my recording because I COC'd to Bruma, which made me stuck in an endless void, and I'm gonna like for 10 minutes now. I'm gonna try to figure out how the fuck to get out of there. So you can speed it up.
yeah, I'm trying to. Okay, there we go. So yeah, like the lights are a bit strange, and if you go back to the Dwemer ruins, there you go. We like earlier in my footage, you could see that there was like a wooden bar used to keep uh, keep the door shut. And there's two things
Yeah.
wrong with that. There's one, why would they use wood in a Dwemer ruin? Two, if it is wood in if it is something from the Dwemer, then how would it still be in one piece? It's wood. After 2,000 years, that's not going to be very strong. And then three, even if it was fresh wood, the Dragonborn should be able to break down a door.
Absolutely. Like I don't know about the Dwemer door. That thing is probably well. What do you mean? What do I mean? Probably it's 100% made out of the Dwemer metal,
Yes.
and it's thick as fuck. It's a door. So
Yep.
I think you're gonna be able to melt through it, like Qui-Gon Jinn, lightsaber
Yeah, I
style
don't know. I don't
opening.
know. I mean, I get it, but I feel like like the temperature you need to reach, like the ones you use in a forge, are way higher than what you can create with a simple, flames spell. But
Maybe if you were a high enough level magician, like
yeah,
especially like you're a dragonborn, you're an archmage by default. So
yeah, maybe.
casting incinerate or something,
Yeah, maybe.
or
Or
like
like use
Yoltor
it. Yeah,
tool.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. I was gonna say that as well. Like just use the fire breath.
Yeah, Yoltor tool it. And like the thing is, I wanted to say that why would they use the wooden barrier? They're Dwemmers. I cannot speak. They Dwemer. They would just make a door that can only open in one way or from
Yeah,
one side.
or have a latch made out of dwarven metal works fine too.
Yeah,
Would be
but
stronger,
with
realistically.
that, like my mom was like, wait, hold up, a door that can open only in one way. All the doors in all the Elder Scrolls games open in both ways.
Yes, they do.
It
But that's all.
always opens away from you.
Um, Let me think. Because like if you use latches, then yes, they will only open one way. But I'm trying to think if or hinges. Sorry, it's hinges. They only open one way. But I'm trying to figure out if old doors had a different kind of hanging system, and therefore they could be opened two ways. But I don't actually think
No,
so.
it was still the same. It was like from one side there were the little cylinders, the or maybe it was just head there.
So yeah, you know what I mean when I say the hinges, right?
I think.
It's like the flat things that hold the door up against the wall, basically. And especially old
Yep,
designs,
yep, 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 yeah. I know. Yeah, I see it.
especially the
Yeah,
old
that's what I meant.
designs
Yeah,
can
that
only
little
fold
cylinder
one
thing I
way.
was talking about.
Yeah, they can only
So,
fold one way, so you wouldn't be able to open the door the other way. I
no,
do
yeah,
think that is like the old designs that they would only open one way. Well, no wait. So it's the one way they swing, but they swing one way, but that doesn't mean you can't open it the other way.
oh yeah.
But no, the
I mean,
Dwemer should be able to
there are
create something.
designs that allow for both way opening with the
Hmm.
hinges on both sides and the door basically, uh, like changing from one side to the other.
Mm.
But that's like high level engineering, which would not be done on and just any old plain
No, no,
door.
door exactly.
Like maybe the fucking main door to the king's personal chambers,
Something like that. Yeah.
but that's about it.
It's also yeah. Well, in this discussion, the main thing you can bring up is that Bethesda dungeons are really like the ruins. They're all designed to be dungeons and not a realistic. How would they create? How would they build up this fort? This city? And like it's something that also happens a lot in D&D where people create things which work as a dungeon, make it nice and exciting, but not at all realistically or practical.
Yeah, I mean, it's a video game. At
That's
least there
still
are no red battles in the Elder Scrolls.
fair enough. It's hmm,
Like the red battle is, in my opinion, a far worse crime in game design than any other thing.
the ones that
Apart
explode.
from an exceedingly limited inventory space. It's like
Yeah.
straight up, head down, no questions.
Yeah. There's other things like that where I'm also questioning how good the game is. When, for instance, uh, there's no distinction between different kinds of weapons. Like it's all flat damage. It's like
I mean, technically, if you get some perks into one-handed or two-handed,
oh no, no.
there is
I'm
a
just
difference
I know
between sword and.
I'm just I was talking in games in general, not specifically.
Oh yeah, in games, yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. Yeah. That's I think the most of the things now. Well,
Yeah.
we can
So,
talk about
should
this.
we talk about the cut content, the unused content?
Yes. Well, we can start that off with the people schedule thing. Um. In that, like one that I really remember well is Nazim, who has in his inventory the key to the Windstep Manor, I think it's called. Um, it's basically his manor, which he's also proud of. The thing is, that manor does not exist in game. He actually sleeps at the Drunken Huntsman, the local tavern,
Yep.
uh, and that is cut content, obviously. But yeah. So yeah, let's actually jump into that. Let's see. I have way too many tabs open. Hold on. Do you have a nice starting point?
Actually, the key to the Windsand Manor is carried not only by Nazim, but also by Akolai Jensen, who is in the Temple of Kinareth, one of the guys that keeps healing the injured, and he actually doesn't heal them.
No.
And also by Alam, which is one of the Red Guard women in Whiterun, which I think she is Nazim's wife.
Could be.
Think.
Okay, so if we're gonna go to cut content, one of the main, like if you go to the first the unused NPCs, for instance, the main thing you're gonna find is a lot of people related to the Windhelm arena, because
Oh my god!
there
yeah,
was going to be an arena
we're
in
talking about
Windhelm.
Skyrim cut content right now.
Yes, now it's Skyrim cut content, and in Windhelm there was supposed to be an arena, which there's a lot of NPCs that they made for that are still available in the game's data, but yeah, they never made use of it. I'm just going to go through these in order that they're appearing, and so there's Argi Farseer, who is supposed to be Idgrod's Ravencrow's sister, and Idgrod is the standard Jarl of Morthal. And she was supposed to like live in Stonehills and then take over from Idgrod as the Stormcloak equivalent, basically, of the Jarl. Next.
Also,
Yes.
the quest, the Whispering Door.
Oh god, yes. No, that's actually a good point. Like both the Whispering Door and Boethiah's quest, they were both supposed to be so much.
The Whispering Door was supposed to be way darker
and longer.
and longer. Yeah, like the children were supposed to kill each other. So.
Now, like this, the children basically would all one by one get corrupted by Mafala, and then they would start killing other people, and eventually they would all come together and kill Olgrith, like a Balgruuf. They would actually kill their own father, and
Yep.
then his brother,
and
you know,
they were also like supposed to Dagny spread horse, Karinda was in. Yeah.
And the brother of Balgruuf was supposed to take over.
One of the girls was supposed to be to have a pet horse, and one of the brothers was
supposed to kill that one.
Supposed to kill the horse, yeah. And the Boethiah's quest was like there was supposed to be a second quest.
Yeah, a follow-up
quest. After Boethiah's calling, there was Boethiah's bidding.
Mm-hmm. And in that quest, you would end up killing Jarl Elisif the Fair of Solitude.
Yes, which is I want to do that so bad. Like I hate her.
So aggressive. Let's see. There's a nice unused NPC called Herbane Sorenshield, who is the owner of the unused items Herbane's Fortress and Herbane's Courage. And it's funny because like one of the factions he's part of is in Kilcrieth, aka the place where Meridia's beacon is brought to. So it would be implied that he would be in those ruins somewhere. Like you have all those corpses there, so it sort of makes sense. And it's also funny because Herbane is also the one who wrote the bestiary books about the Skyrim creatures that you can find. It's the name is written slightly different, but it could be just a typo or they changed it later. So it would have been interesting
also,
to meet an author.
How we talked about like taking over the forts and keeping them. Mm-hmm. This was actually a feature that was supposed to be in Skyrim from the beginning. It's like in the files you can read about the feature of capturing and holding mines, wheat mills, farms, and like there was supposed to be a resource system. You would be able to recruit mercenaries, warriors, stewards, couriers, and assassins and stuff like that. You were able to like purchase land, send patrols, and attack settlements, which is like sounds like a whole another level
Yeah,
of a open world game.
yes. It also sort of ties into the Civil War, which vanilla-wise, Civil War questline is very boring, and that's
Yeah.
because they had huge plans for the Civil War, but they had to cut it all out because they were running out of time. And um, uh, let's see. So like there are some mods that bring back a lot of the cut content, but the yeah, like there's still like leftovers that like if you get the mods that do that, you basically get to take over all the cities that you find instead of having to just poof, you have them by taking over 2 random places. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
like
And
there would be
nobody
an
likes.
epic siege and everything because like they put in the siege weapons and you can actually activate them, but they don't do anything.
Which is so sad. Like the actual Skyrim was never about the main quest line.
No.
It was always about like the Stormcloak Imperial stuff. And knowing that the potential behind it, that we could have gotten this crazy ass long, like with fucking sieges and stuff, it makes me wonder, is it worth getting the game early?
Yeah, no. I think they should like finish stuff more, or they shouldn't make any promises. Like I think that's what they're
No, like
trying to
I
do.
honestly, like I don't care about the promises. All I want is a game that satisfies,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I don't care how long I have to wait for it. Like if the Elder Scrolls 6 is gonna come out in 2030, I
Damn.
would not mind.
As long as the game's finished.
Yeah, as long as they actually work on it for 10 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And
that's what they did with Diablo 3, and look at what a disappointment that was.
Diablo 3 was good.
6 hours after the game was released, people had already finished the game.
It's I
like
liked it. But the thing is, like, Elder Scrolls games are the ones you don't spend 6 hours at. You don't spend 60
oh no.
hours at. You spend 600 hours at an Elder Scrolls game.
I actually
And all the content should be like that. It should not be just like open world stuff like Radiant, like, oh, clear this dungeon and there is a quest in the dungeon. Oh, no. I don't want a single Daedric quest to get the fucking artifact. I want a fucking quest line
for each Daedric quest for each Daedra.
Yeah, like
Damn.
you get the Daedric artifact on the beginning at the end of the first quest, but it
There's more.
gets upgraded.
Yeah,
with every other
upgraded,
quest.
or you have to do some more stuff as you are now the champion of that Daedric Lord.
Yeah.
So
Like,
why would you?
You are the champion. Here is my sword, and now do some more things, and I will unlock its full potential for you.
Kind of like what they did with the Blade of Woe in Oblivion, where
Yes.
you get it in the
Not
beginning,
better.
but
Not
exactly.
just that increases.
No,
I
no,
want
no,
gameplay
exactly.
mechanics.
Yes, and it also brings up the fact that guild quest lines should continue after you become the head of it. Like if you become the head of a guild, then it doesn't end there. Like that's
Yeah.
where things should
Fuck yeah.
begin. That's like the whole new set of quest line. Like you are now the leader of the fighters guild, and now you're going to make decisions, changes that are gonna affect how
What
this
I
guild
did
is
not
run.
like about the fight of the guilds in
Oblivion.
Skyrim,
Oh, Skyrim.
especially,
Oh god, yeah.
is
So
that
short.
the fighters guild is only in
Companions.
Whiterun.
Companions.
The Mages Guild is only in Winterhold, and the Thieves Guild is only in Riften.
You
What
want
I would
more
like
guild halls?
them to build guild halls.
Well, that okay. So like For the one in Skyrim, it sort of makes sense because you have the companions. They specifically have one spot. For the
Mages.
For the mages, it also makes sense. Like one college and everyone else they hate magic, so there's only a focal point where they can study it. The Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild are both on the brink of extinction, so it makes sense that there's only one place left. So there are some arguments to be made.
That thing I don't understand. Like, you go through this quest line, and at the end of it, you end up as the leader of a guild that has like 6 people.
Woo!
Guild, yeah, like fucking Dark Brotherhood. There's 3 of you.
Oh yeah, no, terrible. Like the Thieves Guild actually grows. Like with all those quests you finish, you actually get like 5 more people. Wait, no, you get like
name.
No, okay, so you get several merchants, and then also you get actual people with names and a bit of a story.
Yeah.
And that's just like the Dark Brotherhood's like completely fallen apart. Like if the next game takes place after Skyrim, and I would actually prefer that, then you should have the Dark Brotherhood's questline should be focused on growing the guild more. You know, I don't want to have to go. I'm kind of done with this whole we're on the brink of extinction kind of thing. Like you should be expanding more. We want guild members to spare.
That's true. Like I played only Skyrim and Oblivion, and in both instances, the Dark Brotherhood quest line was basically, "Oh, welcome to the guild. We are a vast, we have vast number of assassins across the entirety of. Oh no, what's happening? We are getting murdered one by one. Yeah. Oh, there's a traitor. Oh no, now you're the last fucking one."
Yeah, you become the leader because everyone else is dead.
Yes, no. If there is to be a Dark Brotherhood in the Elder Scrolls 6, I fucking hope so. It should be like you enter a dungeon and you discover the coffin of the Night Mother, and she speaks to you like right off the bat, and she's like, "Oh, you are my listener from now on. I have been abandoned, and we need to remake the Dark Brotherhood from scratch. And you are the guildmaster from the very beginning, and the whole questline is about expanding the guild."
I don't know about what I will say though. What I would like to see is sort of choices
Cicero.
that you.
Cicero.
You want to see Cicero, yeah. I want choices in that if I choose, I want to be able to choose to become the guild leader or to not become the guild leader. For instance, like especially with the Dark Brotherhood, like who wants to be burdened with being the listener?
That doesn't go well.
No, exactly, and being like, for instance, look at the College of Winterhold. You are now gonna be the Archmage, and then what do you get out of it? Absolutely nothing. You get a cool robe, and then you get to do anything. And even lore-wise, it doesn't make sense for you to be the Archmage because you are someone who goes to other places. So let Tolfdir be the
headmaster. He's supposed to take care of the college. He's supposed to teach all the teachers.
Yes, exactly. So as the guilds, I think, at the end of each of the guilds, you should be given a position that suits the fact that you're not gonna be there all the time.
Yeah, you are a vagrant. You are a fucking adventurer. You go from place to place. You should be like given the if you achieve a high rank in the Mages Guild or the college or whatever the version is, you should be like given the title Artificer. You are here to recover ancient artifacts for us. Stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, no, it's yeah, exactly. So no, I mean, some people do want to be the head of the guild, so you should give the choice, you know? And then maybe it's a direct choice, or maybe it's like a indirect choice. Because like for the Dark Brotherhood, it's hard to make them direct choice. I mean, you either are the listener or you are not the listener. So
The thing is, you are always gonna be the listener because.
and I don't want to be the listener. Let me be a fucking
I know,
silencer
but
or a
you're
finger.
gonna because you need the ability to talk to the Night Mother because otherwise it's not Dark Brotherhood.
No, you can have a listener. It doesn't have to be you. Let someone else take
Yeah,
care of that
but
burden.
if you're not a listener, you're not gonna talk to the Night Mother.
We don't need to talk to the Might Mother if we have a good listener. If you have a good character that's designed for being the listener, then that's okay. Oh, end of that.
Cicero.
Cicero as the.
I hope he gets immortal and he's brought back. Or he doesn't need to be immortal. Scrolls 6 can take place 10 years after events of Skyrim.
Well, the thing is, the problem with that is that he's whether he's alive or not is debatable because you have a choice to kill him or not kill him, and Bethesda is very much like, if you have a choice, then we're going to be vague about the outcome. So if anything, it should take place at a time that he would already be dead, even like maybe he died in the line of duty, or maybe he died of old age.
Lyriander, listen to me. You killed Alduin, which is basically Akatosh. Time break.
It should be a time break.
Yeah, is life. That's a fact. Come on.
Well, we'll see what they do with it. Let's look at it from that perspective. Who knows? Maybe the next one will take.
Full stop.
There's a time break. The end.
Oh no, my recording ran out.
Yes, that's fine. We should be stopping anyway because we're already over time. Well, we talked a bit about
Yes.
I mean, it's good that it's rather that we run out of time than we ran out of things
Not
to talk
have
about.
anything to talk about.
Exactly. So, thank you all for listening, especially the ramble at the end there. Yeah, this will be the last episode for a while because
This year.
This year basically because I have a week off next week, which includes
Christmas, baby.
Christmas, yes, and which includes the Saturday, and after that I'll do some stuff, but then the Daedric one is still going to be this is going to be the next year, so the 2nd of January. So thank you all for watching or listening, and I hope that we get to see you again next year. You have any parting words, Tom?
I hope you tune in for our 14th episode on the in the new year. Let's all together hope 2021 is gonna be better than 2020.
Yeah, that's a good hope to have.
Yeah. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yes. Same from me. And thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.